Camilla used historic ivory scepter at Coronation after Prince William's campaign against the ivory trade. Tell us more about this.
This is really interesting. It's, the details are sort of gradually leaking out about what's going to happen at the coronation, and the royal family's caught between, or King Charles is between, wanting to modernise and show that he's a different type of king and this type of thing, but also, what do you keep from traditions down the ages. And what this is, we already know that Camilla won't have the Koh-i-Noor diamond in her crown, and this is the diamond that's highly controversial. And now we've learnt that apparently she's not going to have the, it's the Queen Consort sceptre, which has been used by every Queen Consort for more than 300 years at the coronation of a king. Now, the reason is because it's made of ivory. It's particularly awkward because, Prince William's campaigned against the trade, I should say the trade in sort of modern ivory, in tusks and illegal attacks and killings of elephants. But it's thought that he's not keen on using the historical ivory either. So,
and that's something he has been quite passionate about.
He has, and this is, according to a report in Private Eye magazine, which I picked up on, is that he's intervened to sort of suggest that his stepmother shouldn't use this sceptre. But it's a very interesting sign of the times. It is.
And Richard Kay, it's been a long time since our last coronation. Surely there are many things which are now controversial or which might need to be updated.
Well, it's certainly going to be an interesting coronation for that reason, because we haven't had one since 1953. And I think, as Richard says, the king wants to marry tradition with modernity, and it's often awkward. It's difficult. I was looking at some pictures of the 53 coronation this week, and on the palace balcony that day, where there was something like 38 people, most of whom were completely obscure personalities. Now, I don't think there'll be anything like that number when we come round to Charles's coronation. It's only just over a month away now, so the excitement is growing. But yeah, it won't just be things like the ivory sceptre that Charles wants to do differently. The coronation service is going to be much shorter, the number of people involved are much fewer, the processions won't be as long. But he does want to make it inclusive, so it'll be very interesting to see how he manages to do that, because one thing we do know about the king is that he does like the pomp and pageantry as much as his mother did.
And Richard, do you think the palace could be accused of political correctness if they do go down these routes and start looking at every item and where it came from and what the significance is and the controversy around it?
There'll always be someone offended. If they go down this route, you're apologising from the start. And let's look at the Guardian newspaper this week, which has, they've announced with great fanfare that they're ashamed. They've apologised for their historical links from, centuries ago to slavery, and they've agreed to pay £10 million to what they call a restorative justice fund. And you will see this pushed more and more on the royal family, that if they're apologising for the ancient artefacts in the crown jewels, they should be apologising for their role in the slave trade too.
Well, isn't that the great problem with an institution like the monarchy, which reaches back 1,000 years? Of course, if you want to embrace that kind of system, then you've got to take the rough with the smooth, and this is the problem they're facing.
Exactly. I think that they can acknowledge the past and the good and the bad things of that past, but once you start going down the route of talking about your shame and how we don't want to have any ivory in the collection anymore, things like this, I think it would be a big mistake.
Well, as you say, not long to go. I'm sure everyone will be very excited, waiting with bated breath to see what they do about all of those items. And sticking with the king, he is making his first state visit abroad. A planned trip to France was cancelled because of protests in Paris, but he and the Queen Consort were able to make the second half of the trip, which is a visit to Germany. With them every step of the way was our very own Rebecca English, and here is her video diary.
The King and Queen Consort started their first state visit in style last night with a glittering state banquet in Berlin. The day started very early, in fact. We left RAF Brize Norton in Oxfordshire on the official government Voyager plane, and there was a really remarkable act of welcome by the German government as we entered German airspace and found 2 Typhoon aircraft on each wing of the plane escorting us down to Berlin. And there was an equally warm welcome on the ground when the couple were honoured at the Brandenburg Gate with the first full ceremonial and military welcome since the Second World War. Even the King's late mother, Queen Elizabeth, who is much admired in Germany, was never afforded that honour in her lifetime. There were some really fun scenes on the ground as well. I accompanied the King when he undertook his first official walkabout in Germany, and he made a point of meeting and greeting as many people as possible. And in the crowd was a group of people who were wearing paper crowns that are given away by the fast food giant Burger King. And one of the gentlemen very politely took the crown off and kind of almost with a little bow handed it to the King and said, "I'd like to give you this if you'd like it." The King kind of chuckled and said, "Oh, I'm okay," because clearly he has a fair few of the real things back at home. There was also a lovely moment with a little girl called Hayley, who was 8, who was trying to take a picture of the King with her toy camera, and she couldn't quite get the shot right, so she kind of spoke to him in a way that none of us would ever dare to or get away with, and just said, "Wait." And the King duly posed and smiled for her, and she probably kind of scooped the rest of the press pack with her picture. There'll be another royal first today when the King becomes the first British head of state to address the German Bundestag. There's a whole plethora of engagements after that, including a visit to a farm, which I'm accompanying the King on, where he will clearly be able to indulge his long-held passion for discussing organic farming. The visit will conclude in Hamburg tomorrow with another packed day of engagements, including a big meet and greet by the town hall and a visit to a church which was bombed by Allied troops during the Second World War, which is, I understand, is going to be incredibly moving. I think what the kind of message we take away from this is, while there was a little bit of drama before we even left, with the first half of the visit to France having to be postponed because of civil unrest in the country, the German people have really rolled out the red carpet for the King and the Queen consort. They have met very warm and smiling faces wherever they've gone. The red carpet, as I say, has really been rolled out for them, and I've no doubt the British government will see this state visit as a glowing success.
You're watching Daily Mail's Coronation Live. We have much more exciting coverage to come, so stay tuned and don't forget to like, comment, follow and subscribe.
Rebecca English there. And if you enjoyed that, you may enjoy our montage later in the show looking back at some other memorable royal overseas trips. Now, Richard, you have accompanied the royals on many overseas visits over the years. How significant is this for the King?
Well, it's number one, so it's his very first trip, so that makes it highly significant. The fact that it's Germany and the traditional links between the British royal family and their German roots. Charles spoke at the welcoming banquet in German and amused and delighted his hosts, it has to be said. And I think he's very proud to be taking the Queen consort on these trips. I mean, he will not have many overseas tours. He'll have nothing like as many as his mother had. He won't have any jubilees in his time, but he's determined to make his mark in however long or short his reign is. And I think he's made a firm forward step with this trip this week.
Seems to be going well so far. And Richard Eden, he delighted the fans in the crowd, and there were some unusual fans there too. Tell us.
There were quite a few people trying to crown him early, a couple of months before the coronation. I think it was a Burger King chain had been handing out crowns, and
yes,
a couple of people were trying to get him to put on one of those. But I think you can see over the years that Camilla and King Charles have always been happy to put on funny hats and on royal tours
and I think he even picked
forth.
up a hat that someone had dropped from the crowd. I think the man was very delighted that he'd done that.
He would never put on a paper crown. The Queen never put on crowns from crackers.
Exactly. I think it would have been a bit undignified, and also handing a publicity coup to Burger King.
Yes, other burger chains are available, of course. And so you think he's done quite well with this first trip?
Well, I think so. I mean, it's early days. I mean, he hasn't really put a foot wrong. He couldn't help what happened in France. Whatever the French spin may have been put on it, it had nothing to do with Buckingham Palace. the French cancelled the trip. I think he was disappointed, but he's making the most of just doing Germany.
Well, the Prince of Wales's secret trip to Poland has been very popular with our viewers, and we've been having lots of comments about that. Anya has written to us and said, I find it rather poignant that the Prince of Wales visited Poland. We have a war in Europe. The invasion of Poland led to the declaration of another war, World War II. The King's grandfather was a staunch supporter of the British government during the war, and I think the late Queen's sense of duty was, at least partly, forged during those years. Now is certainly a time for Europe to come together, and as a Norwegian whose king found a refuge in the UK during the last war, it is during these hard times symbols like the royal family become really important. We also continue to have lots of comments about the new Duke of Edinburgh too, who seems very popular. Cheryl Ann has written to us saying, speaking of Prince Edward, I've noticed how much as he's getting older, he's starting to look more like his grandfather, George VI, who took his role as Spare far more seriously than the current Spare. Well, we have put Edward and George side by side on your screen now, so you can judge for yourselves. Please do keep those comments coming in. We love to hear from you. Well, let's turn now to Prince Andrew. Richard Eden, the Mail on Sunday says the Duke is considering writing his own memoirs. Tell us more. What do we know?
Yeah, there has been quite a bit of speculation about this. Obviously, as it's suggested he needs to earn some money. He wants to be able to stay at Royal Lodge, and I think he might need some money to pay for repairs. And the Mail on Sunday was reporting that he's, in talks potentially about writing it. I think friends of his have been very keen to play this down, but it is possible he's sort of waiting to see whether publishers come forward and say, good idea, yes, we would be prepared to pay you a few million or something, but it's it would be a highly controversial move. Certainly.
I mean, Richard Kay, do you think, I think this is probably the last thing the royal family would want, a memoir from...
Yeah, not only is it the last thing the royal family need, I think it's probably the last thing Prince Andrew needs too. I mean, this is much more to do with his reputation and managing his reputation going forward. He feels he's been traduced over the last few years because of events which he feels he didn't really have complete control on, and he has taken a close look at what Harry did with Spare, and he has wondered quite clearly, is this a route for me? Should I be looking for a ghostwriter to collaborate with? His estranged wife, who still lives with him, Fergie, has herself written her own memoir too, I think, over the last few years, and she would no doubt be giving him some encouragement. But whether it would be a good look for the King in the year of his coronation, I think is another matter altogether.
And Richard Eden, in the Mail on Sunday's piece, they quote an American PR man who says that the Duke still has something he calls the slime factor. Does Andrew think that this book could perhaps get rid of that? I mean, is that quite an unrealistic expectation?
Well, let's remember that, he chose to give that interview to Emily Maitlis on BBC Newsnight, which he thought would be great for his reputation. Which
notoriously backfires spectacularly.
He thought it would be a chance for him to sort of put his point of view and get the points across he wanted to make. And it was a complete and utter disaster. So, people who are telling him that, yes, writing a memoirs is a great move, they may not have his best interests at heart.
And Richard Kay, you mentioned the success of Spare, obviously financially very lucrative. Yeah. Prince Andrew, needs to earn money. What can he do? This is of course a route.
That is a great problem. What can he do? He can't go out and get any kind of conventional job. The kind of business that he was doing in his previous life has been denied to him now. He can't travel to many of the places that he would travel to. He's in many ways an international pariah, stranded in luxury at Royal Lodge in Windsor. How is he going to earn any money in the future? It's very difficult to see. Nevertheless, his brother is not going to make him A, homeless, or B, penniless, and he will support him financially. You've got to remember the one thing about the royal family is that blood is thicker than water, and they'll always stand with each other come what may. So there will be something there for him, but he probably won't have the riches that he feels he deserves and wants.
And Richard Eden, Andrew's housemate and ex-wife Sarah Ferguson is also in the literary world. She's been promoting her new book, and you reported that she's said some interesting things about her former father-in-law, the Duke of Edinburgh, what she said.
Yeah, this is one of her many interviews she's been given. It was on a podcast, and she spoke about her relationship with Prince Philip, which was notoriously tumultuous, shall we say,
yes.
or non-existent for many years, frankly. But she thought there was a very eye-catching line. She talks about how terrifying he could be.
I mean, I can imagine that.
And I think...
Okay. Okay. Where's the Scouts honour or something, isn't there? What do you want to say? Oh yeah, there we go. Do that. Give us some of that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The big hell house. Perfect. Keep looking this way.
Yeah, so we've obviously got to do the top squirrels all the way through to and then we've got
Fantastic. Right, we'll do this as quick as we can.
very good.
Next to me. Would you like to do one? Yeah? What colour would you like? Well done, you.
So far it's still holding together.
It's a good start.
It's fast. It's creative.
Share a bit with you. Thank you. Good job. Right in there.
Some of the songs they find a gap right in the middle.
Shall I take this bit off the top bit there? Can we just see if we can brush that bit? Wipe it look like this. There you go. That's why we're getting it done so quickly there. I know. Good job.
We don't know you've done it before.
Good job. Good done. I know that's good. We're running out of space. So look, let's get there. And least in mind.
Okay. Okay, it's just been a little bit Okay, where's the Scout's honour or something, isn't there? What's the say? Oh yeah, there we go, do that, give us some of that. The big hell mouse! Perfect. Keep looking this way.
Yeah, so we've obviously got to do the top grills all the way through dinner. And then we've got
Oh, right, she's showing me again.
Fantastic. Right, we'll do this as quick as we can.
very good.
Are you going to put this gap there? Go next to me. Would you like to do one? Yeah? What colour would you like? Well done, you.
So far it's still holding together. Good start.
It's a good start.
It's creative.
Share a bit with you. Get some in there. Thank you. Good job. Right in there. Good boy.
Some of the songs they find a gap right in the
Shall I take this bit off the top bit there? Should we just see if we can brush that? Wipe it. Look, like this. There you go. That's why we're getting it done so quickly there. I know. Good job. Good job. Well done. Yogi, Yogi! Oi, oi, oi! I know, that's what I said to do. We're running out of space. So look, let's get there.
Okay. Okay, just in a little bit Okay, where's the Scout's honour or something, isn't there? What's the say? Oh yeah, there we go, do that, give us some of that. 1, 2, 3, the big elf house! Perfect. Keep looking this way.
And then where have I got to put it? Anywhere you like. Should I do it on trying to get everybody excited? I know.
Yeah, so we've obviously got to do the top grills right all the way through to and then we've got
Fantastic. Right, we'll do this as quick as we can.
very good.
Are you going to put this next to me? Would you like to do one? Yeah? What colour would you like? Well done, you.
So far it's still holding together.
It's a good start.
It's fast. It's creative. You don't mind
Share a bit with you. It's still in there. Thank you. Good job. Right in there. Good boy.
some of the songs they found a gap right in the middle. They might have
Shall I take this bit off the top bit there? You just see if we can brush that bit. Wipe it look like this. There you go. That's why we're getting it done so quickly there. I know. Good job.
I don't know how you've done this before.
Well done. Good job. Well done. I know that's what I said to you. We're running out of space. So look, let's get there. And reach the mind.
Okay. Okay, just in a little bit. Okay, where's the Scout's honour or something, isn't there? What's the say? Oh yeah, there we go, do that, give us some of that. 1, 2, 3, the big elf house! Perfect. Keep looking this way.
Anywhere you like. So we're trying to get everybody
Yeah, so we've obviously got to do the top got squirrels right all the way through to and then we've got
Fantastic. Right, we'll do this as quick as we can.
very good.
next to me. Would you like to do one? Yeah? What colour would you like? Well
I wouldn't say necessarily terrifying, but he's quite amusing. But I think with, particularly if she felt she'd done something wrong, he could be scary towards her.
Quite quick to pick up on it.
But she wasn't just negative. As always, she was very positive. She was saying how he was a wise man, and in the same interview she talked about, her love and respect for the Queen and everything. So, I mean, generally she's doing good PR for her.
Yes, and Richard Kay, you have some anecdotes about Prince Philip's attitude to his
I don't think he thought his former daughter-in-law had possessed any wisdom whatsoever. He did his level best to avoid her on all occasions. There was an extraordinary dance macabre every summer when Fergie latterly got invited up to Balmoral to spend some time with the Queen. She would only arrive the moment Prince Philip left and vice versa, and the cars almost passed in the drive. I mean, they would not meet together, and on one occasion I know at Windsor Castle, when Fergie had been invited for tea and was being admitted to the drawing room where the Queen was, and Philip was there, and he was in such haste to get away, he did a scissors jump over a sofa to get out of the room. And Prince Edward, who was with him, said, "I'm coming too." I mean, I think that tells you a lot about the nature of the relationship.
Quite difficult for the Queen to manage that.
I think she managed to pass it off with a chuckle and a smile. And she was very good at handling Fergie, and she did remain extremely close to her throughout those last years.
Yes, indeed. Well, before we go to our beautiful montage, just time for a quick question. This week it's from Alexis from Philadelphia in Pennsylvania in the US. She asks, what I'd like to know is if Palace Confidential will be doing any special shows or special live shows for the upcoming coronation. It would be lovely to hear from the fabulous Richard Eden in real time as the celebrations begin that day. Well, we will be able to fill you in very soon, but yes, we are planning some extra special shows, of course featuring Richard Eden, around the coronation weekend, so you'll be able to hear even more from our unrivaled group of royal experts around that historic day. Well, as promised, here is the montage. This week it's in honour of the King's trip to Germany. We look back at some of the late Queen's most memorable visits to the continent. Well, that is all we have time for today. My thanks to the two Richards and to you for watching. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching, and on Thursday...
Perfect. Keep looking this way.
You're watching Daily Mail's Coronation Live, and we have much more exciting coverage to come, so stay tuned. And don't forget to like, comment, follow, and subscribe.
Next to me. Would you like to do one? Yeah? What colour would you like? Well done.
Ashton, bring that around to her. And then are you going to want to take that one?
You've done a good job.
It's held together. It's all right. See you later.
Hello and welcome back to the Mail's Royal Coronation livestream. We've been in Binfield today helping people in the local community litter pick as part of a big help out event, but they're not the only ones getting stuck in today. The Prince and Princess of Wales and their 3 children have been at a scout hut in Slough helping to renovate it. Back to the livestream.
Calzona or something, isn't there? What's the thing? Oh yeah, there we go. Do that. Give us some of that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The big help out. Perfect. Keep looking this way.
Don't forget to like, follow and subscribe.
that and I'll show you exactly where to go. Okay. We'll keep the wheelbarrows coming. It's fine. Okay, where's the Scout's honour or something, isn't there? What do you say? Oh yeah, there we go, do that, give us some of that. 1, 2, 3, the big old house. Perfect. Keep looking this way.
Comment, follow, and subscribe. Tears of the Crown.
Hello and welcome back to the Mail's Royal Coronation livestream. We've been in Binfield today helping community litter pick as part of a big help house event, but they're not the only ones getting stuck in today. The Prince and Princess of Wales and their 3 children have been at a scout hut in Slough helping to renovate it.
There is one. It's a bit flaky, that one. It's the only problem. We'll do our best.
I have never been
What's going on today?
So today we've got a community litter pick as part of the big help out. So we're hoping we'll get 20, 30, maybe 40 volunteers along today, in addition to our sponsor of street volunteers that we have out all year round that really help to keep Binfield a lovely clean and tidy village. Also we've got the 10K coming up in a couple of weeks, and one of the things we really like to do before that happens is get the route looking at its best and clean and tidy, where we have, before we send 850 runners out on what hopefully will be a great day in a couple of weeks' time.
I'm here with Simon, who's newly appointed High Sheriff of Berkshire, and we're going to ask him what exactly that means.
So, I probably need to go back into history and tell you that in the old days, the High Sheriff was responsible for law and order in the county before we had police forces and the organised law system we now have. Also raising an army when it was needed, and also raising taxes. Now, obviously, the raising the taxes, all those things are now done by the Exchequer. So nowadays, the job of the High Sheriff is to be supportive of all the emergency services and also the judicial system, and also do support charities and look after charities and see how we can help charities and bring charities together.
And I hear that you might have brought a tractor to today's litter picking.
Yeah, I hope we're going to collect a lot of litter, and so we've got a tractor and trailer to put it all into.
And how did you celebrate the coronation?
Well, I was very lucky. My son was riding in the coronation as an escort to His Majesty, so we went and watched that. And I went to see the Berkshire Fire and Rescue Service doing their sponsored ride yesterday. And then last night I was very fortunate to be invited to the concert at Windsor Castle. So I've had a terrific coronation weekend.
We've got people painting in our hall today. We've got kids sharpening pencils. We have another team working out in our outside learning area, which is the bowl. And they are cutting back brambles, weeding, and generally tidying up that area for the kids. And yeah, we're just all hands on deck, just trying to make the school a better place.
Say hi. Say hi.
You don't have to.
So we run a Easter egg hunt every Easter, funnily enough, and we do a scarecrow trail in the October half term. So we sell maps which basically plot route out with various houses taking part, and they make nice displays for people to come and have a good walk round. So the actual walk is probably a good hour and a half, 2 hour walk, so it's a nice way to get out with the kids and have some fun.
So we run events once a month. In the winter we're typically out doing conservation work parties, and then in the summer we do things like this. We run a couple of litter picks, we run guided walks. But I say, this is amazing to have so many people turn up for this event today.
Unlike you guys, we're starting to get people back.
I think they've arranged with the council for me to leave it my rubbish dumps, get that rubbish bin, it's all going to be collected. I believe.
Are you surprised by the amount of rubbish that there is?
Have a look, and that's all come from the verges of all the lanes around Binfield. It's amazing.
Well, I'll leave you to it. Thank you very much. Hello, how do you think today has gone?
amazing, gobsmacked. We've never ever run out of litter pickers before, so big thank you to everybody from Binfield and Ascot and Warfield we had as well. So a really big community response.
Huge, yeah, and running out of places for people to go and litter pick within the parish as well is just phenomenal. They've worked really, really hard and very, very proud of our community. They've done brilliantly. Yeah.
Have you been surprised by the amount of rubbish that they've picked up?
Yeah, and it's hard to feel good about that because there was stacks, but it is stuff that has probably been sort of there for a lot of it have been there for a long time, because I think most people would say Binfield is generally quite clean and tidy, but it was a lot. It was a lot, maybe 60 bags?
Yes, at least.
And more is still coming.
More is coming, But, people finding all sorts of different things today, like woolly jumpers, bits of cars, bottles, cans, all the usual sorts of stuff, with a few surprises in there as well, crowbars and all sorts of things. So, people have gone above and beyond today.
What a lovely end to the Coronation weekend.
Fantastic. Yeah. And I know it's a little bit rainy today, but everybody is in such high spirits and the community has really come together brilliantly. So we're really pleased. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So far, it's still holding together. It's a good start. It's a good start. It's fast. It's creative. Some of the songs are coming down right in the
Can I take this bit off the top bit there? Can we just see if we can brush that? What's it been? That's great.
Well done. Good job.
Right. Thank you.
Exactly. That's the soil in there.
Yes.
Nathan, we'll do some digging, I think. Now. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, is that all right? If you want to come back to the desk. Yeah. See you later.
Thank you.
Clear up my mess.
You've done a good job.
Right,
Yeah.
it's held together. It's all right.
Okay, we're going.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.
You're
facing here.
Look like this. There you go. That's why we're getting it done so quickly there. I know. Good job.
I don't know how you've done this before.
Good job. Well done. I know that's nice. We're running out of space, so let's get there.
Weird one that didn't go all the way in. Oh, yeah.
It's got to be in his hair as well. Can you see it? Wipe it. Go on then, do that bit for me.
If you follow Henry and Jasmine there, they'll show you exactly where to go.
Okay.
You keep the wheelbarrows coming. Where did they go? It's fine. Okay, where's the Scout's honour or something, isn't there? What's going to say? Oh yeah, there we go, do that. Do some of that. 1, 2, 3. The big help out. Perfect. Keep looking this way. Yeah, so we've obviously got and then we've got fantastic. Right, we'll do this as quick as we can.
Very good.
Next to me. Would you like to do one? Yeah? What colour would you like? Well done, you.
Right.
make it slightly less heavy to carry it. Yeah?
But Ashton, bring that around here. And then are you going to
Thanks for the work, isn't it?
So far, it's still holding together.
It's a good start.
It's fine. It's creative.
I take this bit off the top bit there. Can we just see if we can brush that? What's it been? That's great. Thank you for spotting that.
Good job.
Right.
Thank you.
Exactly. That's the soil in there.
Yes.
The plants in there.
Nathan, we'll do some digging, I think, now.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah? Is that all right?
If you want to come back to the desk. Yeah. See you later.
Thank you.
Clear up my mess.
You've done a good job.
Right,
Yeah,
I don't know, it's held together, it's all right.
Okay, we're going
Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Your placing here.
Wine do it like this. There you go. That's why we're getting it done so quickly there. I know. Good job.
We know how you've done it before.
Good job. I know that's we're running out of space. Oh, look, let's get Quick.